Welcome back to another video, guys. Today I'm going to be trying to make the most amount of power for the least amount of money with, hold on, a Predator 212. This is the lowest model, nothing fancy. I actually got this on sale for like 110 bucks. So this really is the most budget, most power build you can do. So I am going to be using quite a bit of tools like a die grinder because I'm going to be porting the head, probably a drill, some other stuff. If you don't have a lot of tools, it might suck to make cheap power, but I am going to use what I have working with. So the budget for this build I think is going to be $400 including the motor. So I only have 300 bucks to spend on this motor to try to make as much power as possible. So I got some stuff picked out, like I got a rod and piston, the cheap Amazon one, that's $100. I did not cheap out on a carburetor too much. I got the cheaper one, but I definitely got one that's gonna be easy to tune. It's called a Nibby carburetor. So I got that. I got a cheap aluminum flywheel. I think that's 35 bucks. It sets the ignition timing to 35 degrees. I think it might be 32 degrees. So it sets the timing 8 degrees above stock. And then what else? Some other stuff. I'll go over everything once I get it in the mail. But first thing I'm gonna do is tear the engine down and then go from there. I'll probably end up porting the heads first. That's probably my favorite thing. All right, so this is what you're gonna get in the box. There's like a little instruction manual, some foam. There's also this bad boy. You take the foam out. Here's the motor. We're gonna be taking everything off the motor. Probably, yeah, we're just gonna make this motor bare. So I'm gonna get this out of the box, I'll set it up, and then I'll set up a little time lapse of me tearing it down. All right, so next thing I'm gonna do is port the head. So you can see there's some pretty rough edges in here. So I'm gonna smooth all that out and I'm going to port it as much as I can. So with the exhaust side, you want to get it nice and smooth, and then the intake side, usually on like cars and stuff, people dimple really high horsepower stuff. So we'll see what I do, but yeah, I'm gonna start porting it just to at least get all the rough edges done first. All right, so I just ported the intake side. You can see how large that is now. There's no rough edges. I think I made it as big as you can. You can see the flange on this is pretty thin now on each of the sides, so I open it up as much as possible. Now, if we look through the exhaust, which I think does have a bigger port stock, it's a lot smaller, and you can't. There's a huge like ridge right here, so that's what I got rid of on this side, and I just open it up a ton. So I'm not gonna do the exhaust as crazy because sometimes you need a little bit of that restriction in the exhaust to make a lot of power. But yeah, I'm gonna port it definitely a little bit. So yeah. All right, so after a lot of work, I got the exhaust side done. You can see I tried to polish it as good as I could. It's almost a mirror finish. But I didn't open it up too much, just got rid of the sharp edges. I opened it up down here so it can flow better. But yeah, mostly it's just stupid polished. And then the intake side here is kind of a better look. But yeah, I think that's gonna be done with like cutting the head. I'm gonna relap these valves just in case. And yeah, so now I just gotta wait for some stuff to come in the mail, pistons. I did order a cam. I think all in, I'm at $420. So it's not too terrible. Hopefully this thing makes a lot of power and it'll all be worth it. All right, so usually for the holes where you take out the governor, you got one right here, and then there's another hole up top, and then there's one more hole right here. Usually you tap these holes or you just put bolts in them with RTV. I don't want to do that, so this is a step you guys don't have to take, but I'm going to TIG weld them all closed and then grind them, make them look nice. So I'm gonna do that real quick, and then yeah, I'll show you guys what it looks like after I'm done. All right, got this one welded up, got this one welded up, and I got this one welded up. Turned out, I mean, not the best, but it should hold for sure. And I think it's way better than putting bolts in it, to be completely honest. One thing with like big aluminum stuff like this is you gotta preheat it. It makes it so much easier. Also, I did take out the seal if you guys were wondering, just so I didn't melt the seal. But yeah, I think it turned out pretty good. All right, so all the parts just came in the mail. You can see I got the new Navy carburetor with the air filter and a little adapter. I still have to make this a little bigger to match the port on the head. There's a little breather that it came with, new gaskets all over. I'm probably gonna reuse a lot of the other ones because the motor has never been ran. You can see this is the Amazon rod. It is pretty nice. I did not think that it was gonna be this nice, but that's sick. Here's the piston as well. The piston is cast. This is actually billet, so I'm super surprised, but yeah, here's the cheap flywheel. You can see all the aluminum fins. And yeah, I think it's time to start putting some stuff together. Oh yeah, I also got a cam for like 56 bucks. I'm not even sure what cam it is. All I know is it said it should be good for like 7,500 RPM. So yeah. All right, so first thing I gotta do is wipe a lot of this down just because it's been sitting for quite a while. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Then we gotta put some oil on this and put the rod bearings into the rod. They want you to plasti gauge. I probably will. I haven't decided 100%, but yeah. All right, so I got the piston and rod in. If you're watching the video, you saw that I compressed the springs with my fingers. I was just trying to show that if you don't have the fancy ring compressor, you can do it by hand. It's not the worst thing. These motors are a little bit easier. Anyway, now I have to put the rod cap on. I'm gonna put some assembly lube on the bearing first, slide the crank in, put some assembly lube on the bottom side right here, and then bolt it all up. And then I think put the cam back in, and then get it running. All right, so I just finished torquing the rod down and I put the cam in. So now we can put the front cover on as well as the head. I'm gonna lap the valves, show you guys a little trick in a second. But yeah, it's really coming along. All right, so when lapping valves, you can use this little trick. Essentially, you just put a hose on the drill and then put the hose around the top of the valve after you get it in. So get some valve lapping compound, put it around where it seats, like so, like that. You don't need too much. This stuff goes a long way. Then what you're gonna do is slide it into where it goes. Come around to the other side. Take your drill, and then you're gonna wanna push the hose onto the top of the valve. Then maybe if I show you guys from this side, you can see what's happening. Do a little bit more. And then bam, just like that, you can pull the little hose off and you have a lapped valve. Pop this puppy out. Let's see, it's been reseated. Nice and good. I'm gonna go ahead and do that to the exhaust side. Then I'm gonna go deep clean the head. Okay, so I just cleaned the head. Now I have to put it back together, so I'm going to use, let's put these valves back in. I'm going to try and put the valve springs in with my hands. I'm not 100% sure if that's gonna work. I'm gonna use this rag to push the valves up. Okay, so let's see. Well, here's the valve springs. These are pretty cheap, but they should work just fine. Try to start it up. I smoke if it's wrong, but what I like to do is put both keepers into the valve retainer, push down, and simultaneously push the keepers down as well. And then bam, pretty easy. Alright, so when I bought my cam, it comes with a little page with all the details. What I'm looking for is what to set the valve lash to. It says 3 thousandths, so we're gonna go ahead and put this right here and tighten this until this is a snug fit. Still moves like that. There's little resistance. Then we can tighten the top nut. So I'm gonna get 2 wrenches, proper size. Okay, so like right there is pretty good. Now I'm going to take this it's too tight, so then back this out a little bit. Okay, that seems pretty good. Now I lock them together. Check it one last time. And slide it in there. Okay, it's being weird. Okay, it feels pretty good. Alright, so I just marked this piece. This is the adapter for the intake. Just mark that bad boy out, so I'm gonna go ahead and port it a little bit so it matches, and then I can throw the carburetor on. Alright, so I just ported out this little intake manifold, if you will, and you can see the gasket that fits on there. Perfect. So now we're gonna go ahead and put this bad boy on here, get the carburetor on, put the magneto as well as the coil and everything on, and see if it starts. All right, I just got the carburetor on and the crankcase breather. This is already looking so nice. The red and black really does it. I got to put that on as well as set this exactly where it goes, but it's really getting there. And just like that, I think it's ready for a first start. I got everything on. This isn't the final exhaust that's going on it. I just took this off my personal mini bike just so I get a first start. I still need to order some pipe and make a bigger exhaust, but I think it looks phenomenal. I'm gonna hook up a little fuel tank for now just so we can start it and I could show you guys what it sounds like. All right, so this thing still needs tuned. This is just right out of the box. I can't believe it starts up with this big of a carburetor just straight out of the box. That's crazy to me. But hey, it runs. So I got to make a different little fuel tank and everything for it. But that's probably going to do it for this video. I'm not sure what I'm going to put this on. You guys should let me know in the comments what you guys think. I do have a mini bike right here with a CVT that I built. I think that might be pretty cool. See what the actual difference. That's a 224 with just some like small stuff to it. But yeah, let me know for sure what you guys want to see this on. I'll make a whole nother video. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it. So if you like this kind of stuff, subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed it.